lights on? How the fuck you quiet with the mic on? I don't get anxiety, you saying Bowie ass. I just get my mic on. Y'all said I wouldn't go nowhere, I took the detour. When you see the sun on the crack, walk by the seashore. When you see them brand new big floors, only bitch I'm eating.
Hey everyone, it's Coko. I had a bigger script planned for this sequence, but I just decided to get straight into it. There's no point. I'm going to be talking about a really small game. I don't think you would have heard of it before. It's only just come out like a week ago. I'm talking about the Joy Creation, the new one. If you haven't played it yet, what are you doing on this video? Go play it! It's free on Steam now. Literally now. But why am I talking about the Joy Creation? Just out of nowhere, just make a video after 2 years. Well, I did every animation you see, except for that one. Enough yapping from me. Let's just jump into it. One fact about Freddy was that he was the first 4-hour animated for the game. This allowed me to experiment with the movement style, especially with the little amount of animations he had compared to the other goobers. Sorry to you Freddy fans out there, you're not eating as much today as the others. I characterized him as a tall and prideful figure, which I represented by giving him perfect posture and a stance that makes him seem like a wall you do not want to run into. Now let's have a look at the first animation I did. Here we have our first one-on-one encounter with Freddy in the game. While this animation is short, it's an indicator of success. While almost tricking the player, they've made a mistake the first time it happens. In the first few frames, I purposely gave him half a second to zoom towards the player as if he was going to get you. But then, immediately push him back to create a punch for the flashlight, and it immediately comes straight towards you and screams like a bitch. Then he finally leaves until the next time you see him. Hopefully not. With all this in mind, it helps highlight the main goal of the office. Flashing Freddy until the clock goes round. The next animation is his idol. As described before, he's more stable compared to the others, so with this idol I decided to give him more of a patient look when he's in the hallway. In the older version of the game, he used to look around with his eyes before the final version, where he stares directly at you. And look at him, he just looks so adorable doing so! That's all that was done for Freddy in the demo. Although he didn't have as much animations as the rest, I do think characterizing him was one of my highlights, animating him. Hopefully soon you will get shown some more later down the line, but that's him for now. Bonnie needs no introduction. Everyone knows him for the punch in the classic game. With this in mind, I had to remake that iconic punch in a way that satisfied the community, as well as making it as scary as the original. I think I achieved that pretty darn well here, but it doesn't go without saying that this task horrified me a lot. Anyway, I characterized Bonnie as a twitchy and uncomfortable figure. He's always moved and posed as if he was uncomfortable in his own body, causing him to become lethal to whoever disturbs him, like some sort of itch. Now, I'll play the first animation for you. Here we have Bonnie's punch. Well, more of an uppercut. In the first second of the animation, Bonnie screams at you, which is another indicator of the flashlight having an impact on the enemies. Little detail here is that Bonnie blocks the flashlight as much as he can on the bottom right, as he's screaming towards the player. And he eventually picks himself up, charging his blast from the past like a badass. Then I made him uppercut the camera, causing the creator to fall down to the ground. You'd think at this point, man, this guy's gotta get a break or something. Nope, this guy is still breathing somehow.
All that for a drop of blood.
If you know the Joy Creation, you'll know that this isn't the only time Bonnie punches you in the office. Take a look. Bonnie's second punch contains him in the hallway. Once being spotted, he screams. Then he slightly wipes the camera to the side and then begins to have second thoughts about his life. I'm only joking. It's mainly just a shorter version of the normal jump scare. Chica definitely has the most scrapped animations out of all the Ignited. Originally she was meant to have phases, which were a good idea at the time until some balancing issues came along and was overall pretty buggy. I characterized her as a shy and stupidly dangerous bird. When she had the chance to shine, she wouldn't even know how to control herself at all other than trying her best to kill you the only way she knew how. Let's start off with the content that was in the final product. Here we have Chica finally losing her patience, lunging towards the creator to grab them by the head. Right after she rocks him around back and forth like a swing, creator starts to grab onto Chica, but unfortunately for him, she commits the final blow, plunging her beak into the right side of creator's face, slowly dragging him up to the ceiling. This is one of my most unique jump scares in the demo in my opinion. I've never done anything like it before. It wasn't simple either. I went through 3 different animations to get it right. With that in mind, it's time to showcase the cut content of the level. Sticking to the jump scares, we're starting off with Chica's older jump scare animation. We can see her on her feet this time, lunging towards the creator. He fends himself off by pushing her to the side, but since she's bird-like in character, she has complete focus on him, so she attacks again, but this time, it's also blocked by the creator's Terminator instinct. But Chica comes in to push him over by putting her entire weight on him by simply tumbling over the creator. She adjusts herself as creator braces for impact, but before he could even process anything, the beak was plunged inside of his head once more. She slicked it out and looks interested by the scene. Jesus Christ. This is during a time where the plan was she'd fall to the ground from the roof, but again, change of direction with her character. Not all hope is lost though. It has a high chance of being used as a jump scare later down the line, to those who like this one more than the final one. The only thing I'd change personally is the pacing and speed, but I'm pretty proud of this jump scare to this day. This next segment is fun. We'll be discussing more cut animations about Chica's old mechanic. I'll play them during this explanation since they're gonna take too long to explain. Originally, you were supposed to find the cupcakes by flashing her, but you can suppress her by flashing with the risk of battery depleting of course. If you were too late, she could pull herself out by putting the pressure onto the roof. But previously mentioned, this only came packaged with balancing issues. It's a shame, but I'm super proud with how the physics look. Most of these animations took a single try to go, and if you know about that, trial and error is a massive factor in animation, so I can't say I spent too long on them. Just a fun little development thing to bring up since no one has actually been told about it. Foxy was one of the most interesting to give life to because no matter what scenario he was in, I had to make sure the impact of chaos was there to ensure that he was the most violent character you'd almost miss playing your first time. I characterized him as a hunter, always hunched over with his massive hook ready, aware that his prey is nearby but just out of his reach. He only strikes when he knows it's the best time to, which he's not afraid to barge into the room. Let's start with his jump scare. Like tradition, Foxy lunges towards the player from the darkness, grabbing you by the neck in the process. He pins the creator to the ground and screams as he has a clear shot towards your head. He lifts up his hook as he screams, then he takes the final blow right into your head. I've noticed that the hype got bigger when the fans saw this kill animation, which I'm very grateful for. I'm still very impressed with myself that it only took an hour and a half to complete this animation in a single afternoon. Anyway, this isn't the only way Foxy can kill you, of course. The most average kill from Foxy is when he starts running into the office. Here it is now. It's more of a simplification of his hallway kill, but picking you up instead. It's just as scary. He can't reach you without running towards you, so here's his run cycle. Little silly, I know, but it's more of an expression of desperation to finally killing his prey. For Foxy, there's no time to waste in this built-up scenario. Like I said earlier, Foxy was sure a fan favourite kill-wise, but I think there's someone new that's taking that spotlight. Inner Freddy. What the fuck is Inner Freddy? The most I can say it's Freddy, but in his natural form. He can kind of break the scenario that has been created for us, but we'll get into that later. His character is the same as Ignited Freddy's, but with exaggerated expressions, poses, and actions. I made sure that he was the one character that showed the most emotion or tone through their overall presence, which I think I did pretty well. Now for his appearances in the game. Inner Freddy comes from the darkness, picking you up to make eye contact. Creator, in a fear response, grabs and tries to push Freddy away, but unfortunately for him, Inner Freddy had already taken the chance to bite off Creator's jaw, in which, after he's finished, he throws you away and peers over the Creator to admire his work done, placing his hands behind his back. It's funny really, because the hands behind his back happened on accident. I sent Nikson some unfinished work without his arms moving, and since it looked like his arms were behind his back, it was too good not to implement for his character. Now we have the flash after completion. It's exactly like Ignited Freddy's flash, but more advanced. You see him tumble back, seemingly in pain, but teleports around just to only trick you. He's playing a game here. He didn't feel anything, but he's for sure less constrained, laughing after deceiving you and zooming away as you complete the night. He's one of my favourite characters for sure, but to fans who are still confused about his overall existence, this is not creation, just Freddy but more demon-like, so don't misgender Girly Pop again. I don't have much time for this one, or it'll take forever to do fully, so I'll speed up the process this way. We got a creator, not to be confused with a certain tiger. Despite being a pair of arms and later down spawning a full body for himself, he was surprisingly the easiest to animate. Each animation at least took under an hour to complete, and it was extremely fun to act out some actions in real life for my own personal reference, and sometimes just go for it when it came to animating. My biggest inspiration for the first-person animations was Hyper. Go check him out. I love his impactful visuals. It feels so satisfying watching his work, so I figured I'm just gonna steal it. I'm gonna steal, and it's nothing you can do about it. Here is some waking up animations from when he died and respawned back into the office. I must add, the voice lines of Creator done by talented Corey Wilder helped a lot during the making of these animations, and it was easier to visualize his emotions through his voice, which made my job easier. These door animations are pretty cool and early renditions of my work on the team. They do the job of opening and closing entryways, I guess. And the Fusebox animations, you might be thinking, wow, these look pretty good. And I would agree, except for one thing, the process. What was the deal with this? Well, if you're an animation geek, you would know these were done in fucking FK. And for the longest time, I had FK arms, which isn't typically bad, but for this instance, it's bad. It took 5 times as long to finish off. So that means for every frame you see, there's not a single frame without a keyframe. Moving on to the ending cutscene, he has a full player bottle now, which has been super fun to play around with and allows me to do more with advanced animations. You'll see why later down the line in development updates, but yeah, that's Creator.
Hold on, I gotta record it.